Hi, I'm Jen Thomas, and tonight I'm chatting to the Queen of Metal herself with a brand new album, Conqueress, Forever Strong and Proud, out right now. It's Doro Pesch, and here's a track from that new album. This is Time for Justice. So joining me today on My Planet Rocks is the Queen of Metal herself. It is the brilliant Doro Pesch. Thank you so much for your time today. We started off there with Time for Justice. It is taken from your brand new album, Conqueress, Forever Strong and Proud. I love that title. I love that ethos. How did that come about?
Actually, yeah, the whole album it took about 3 years to make, and then we had like 20 songs, and we thought, man, it's so hard to pick the first single, but then we picked Time for Justice because it has a good message, and I wanted to do a cool video. And I don't know if you guys have seen the video; it looks like kind of a Mad Max style, and I was always a
Yes.
big fan of the Mad Max movies, so that was the first single. And yeah, and the whole album, I'm so happy with it, and I hope the fans will love it. And yeah.
And you've had an incredible career. You're celebrating 40 years. You say starting off with Warlock, you were just 19 years old. How does it feel to have this longevity and this success decades on?
Oh man, I tell you, time flew by. It really it feels like I'm just doing it for 5, 6 years. And when we started out, I took my baby steps actually in 1980. I had my first band when I was 15, 16. My first band was called Snakebite, then Beast, then Attack, and then Warlock. We formed in 82 and we recorded in 83, and the record came out 83, 84. So we said, okay, now is the anniversary of the first professional stuff. But yeah, I'm doing it yeah for so many years. I love it. And there were many adventures, many ups and downs, and I'm so happy when we can play all the festivals and go on tour. So I love it. And I always wanted to do music since I was 3 years old. And then I got one song which inspired me so much, and I will tell you later. It was like a great song. It wasn't rock, it wasn't metal, but it was Little Richard, Lucille.
That's actually what we're going to talk about, because we'll be talking about these songs that mean the most for you over your lifetime and career. I don't envy you narrowing it down. I wouldn't be able to pick just 7, 8, 9 songs. It's so hard to know where to start. And as you say, this song might surprise people, having Little Richard being on your list. So what was it about this song that you love?
Yes, I was about, yeah, I think 3 years old. And I heard this song, Lucille, and I have to tell you this little story. I was doing a record with G.Simmons, and G.Simmons and Kiss. That was like, he was my hero, and I was a big Kiss fan growing up. And then we did this record in LA. He produced one of my records. It was 89, 90. And somebody told me, he said, hey, you know who's living across from your hotel? I was living in the Mondrian Hotel. And I said, no. And somebody said, Little Richard. He's just living right across from the street in the Hyatt Hotel. Used to be the Hyatt Hotel. Now I think it has a different name. And he said, he's living in the penthouse. Maybe you want to check it out, knock on his door. And I thought, oh yes. And then every day when we recorded or when we did this album, I thought, I want to go over and tell Little Richard, he's the reason why I'm doing music and why I'm, yeah, here in America doing a new album. And every day I thought, yeah, maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. And then I thought, I don't want to invade his privacy. It's not cool. But I thought, yeah, maybe next week. And then the record was done, after 6, 7 months, the record was done, and I never knocked on his door.
Oh.
And then I thought, I should have done it, but I don't want it to, to make him feel uncomfortable. I know how it is when people just like, yeah, knock on your door and you're not, not ready to meet anybody.
That is nice to think of it that way, but I'm sure he would appreciate knowing that was what you were inspired by him. But I totally understand that where you're thinking, oh, should I? It's the whole never meet your heroes thing sometimes as well, isn't it? But this is going to be the first choice of Doro. It is going to be Little Richard and Lucille. So that was the first choice of Doro, my guest tonight on My Planet Rocks, and that was Little Richard with Lucille. So you mentioned that he was a really early inspiration for you when you were young. Now, one of your choices is Whitesnake. Now, is it correct that they were the first band you saw in concert?
Yes, yes. It was in 1980. I had my first band, Snakebite, and I was always driving my band members to concerts. I was the only one with a car, and I was the only one with a license. So we went all over to different countries. But my very first rock show was Whitesnake and David Coverdale. He was a god. It was so overwhelming. It was so great. And it was this legendary lineup. And man, I tell you, I was blown away. And then we always went right back into our rehearsal room, rehearsing. It inspired me so much. And he was definitely, man, he was so amazing. And I always wanted to cover one song which I love so much. It is "Don't Break My Heart Again." And I thought, man, I want to cover the song I really love. And yeah, and we covered "Don't Break My Heart Again." I haven't send it to David Coverdale yet, but I want to do this eventually. I hope he will love it. And it was so good to sing that song. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When you watched them live that time, was that something that just cemented it for you going, I want to be up there. I want to be on that stage?
Yeah, actually, I tell you, it was almost too grand. It was so perfect, and I was definitely learning from it. But yeah, it was like, wow, yeah, he was bigger than than anything I've seen on whatever TV. Or it was so great, and it was one of the greatest concerts. And then I waited a long time to see another great concert, because I thought every live concert is like that, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, I always want to do something with him. I did so many duets with so many great people I loved, I adored. And with David Coverdale, yeah, I didn't do anything yet. So I'm hoping for the future. I want to do 20 more records if that's possible. So maybe one of these days.
That's Whitesnake, "Don't Break My Heart Again" on My Planet Rocks tonight. On the way next, Doro Pesch tells us about working with some of her metal idols.
My guest tonight is Doro Pesch. Now, you mentioned G.Simmons and Kiss earlier on, and you have chosen a track from them. Now, you've seen them many times over the years. You've worked with them over the years. What do they mean to you as a band?
Actually, when I was still in school, I was a big Kiss fan, and I think I got all the singles, and then I bought Kiss Alive 2 a little bit later. Oh man, and I'm still a big Kiss fan, and I was in LA, and then somebody called me, the promoter of the legendary Monsters of Rock festivals, and I remember that well because it was my first big festival in 1986 in Castle Donington, England, Monsters of Rock. And so the promoter called me and he said, "Doro, I heard you're a big Kiss fan." And I said, "Yes, totally." He said, "Do you want to introduce Kiss?" And I thought, oh my God, yes.
Okay, ich höre, ihr seid noch gut drauf. Okay, dann ist hier für euch meine absolute Lieblingsgruppe, Kiss!
So I flew over to Europe. It was in Germany, actually. And I introduced Kiss, and it was the first time that I met all the guys, and they were very nice, and and like total gentlemen. So one of these days, I called my manager, and I told him, "Hey, I would like to write a birthday card to G.Simmons because he had birthday 2 days after my dad. My dad was my best friend, so and my manager said, "Hey, that's such a stupid idea." He said, "Doro, drop it." And I said, okay. And I said, but maybe we could do something. Maybe I could, do a song with Kiss, or maybe I could cover a song. And my manager said, no way, they have no time for that, So I didn't even think of it anymore. And then a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call. Alex, my manager, he was on the phone. He said, "Doro, come and meet me at the Parker Meridian Hotel. And he said, right away, and there's somebody waiting for you. So I met my manager in front of the hotel and I said, Alex, so please tell me who is in there? Who is it? He said, yeah, it's a surprise. I said, no, I want to know. He said, G.Simmons. I said, what? Are you crazy? You didn't tell me G.Simmons is there, waiting for me. He said, yes, he's waiting for you. He wants to talk to you. And I said, oh my God. Yes, so I walked in and G.Simmons was sitting in the lobby. He was very nice and he said, hey, hi, Doro. I heard you want to do a new album and what do you think, like sound-wise, and do you have any ideas? And then he said, Doro, you know what? We can try it. If nothing comes out, nobody will know. It doesn't matter. We will just have some fun and that's it. And then we started working in New York. Actually, he always came to my apartment. I was living in the village and then we were juggling around with some ideas and it was great. And then we recorded the whole album in LA in 89, 90. And I tell you, my dream came true. It was so unbelievable. It was unbelievable to meet your hero and I could never get over it. Every day I drove into the studio, my knees were shaking. I was just a little bit worried that we wouldn't finish the record because everybody was partying so hard. So yeah. But Gene, he never drank anything. He never smoked a cigarette. He never drank alcohol. So he was really, holding it all together. But it was a fantastic time. And every time when I tour and for example, when we have a gig in Detroit, then I think of Detroit Rock City and I think, man, I can't believe, we've made it. We're here. We're in Detroit Rock City. And that was one of my absolute favorite Kiss songs. I love it. Still love it.
So that was Kiss here on My Planet Rocks, one of the choice of my guests this evening at Doro. So you started off with Little Richard and Lucille, so a song that we said might surprise people. Again, you've chosen one that is one of my personal favourites. You've chosen T-Rex. Now, that was one of the bands that first got me away from, say, perhaps pure pop music, going into the world of glam and things like that. What was it for you that you loved about it?
Yeah, I was very young. Yeah, I was in school. I think I was like 6, 7, 8 years old and then I got totally into the glam rock bands like Sweet, Slate, T-Rex, and especially Mark Bowen. I think he had this aura. There was so much magic. I loved it. And, we went to a lake in Austria or something. And that was actually the last vacation I took with my parents when I was a kid. And on the highway, suddenly there was the radio and the news. They said, Mark Bowen died. I tell you, the whole vacation was done. I was crying the whole 2 weeks. My parents couldn't get me, I was so devastated. That was the first time that somebody left and I really loved him. And, I didn't know before that the feelings were so deep, so strong. But yeah, when I heard that he's gone and forever, but I still love his music and especially Mark Bowen, yeah.
The T-Rex there with Children of Revolution on My Planet Rocks. With me, Jen Thomas, joined tonight by the incredible Doro, the queen of metal. Now, one of your choices that will come as no surprise to many of your fans is Motorhead, because you were best friends with Lemmy, weren't you? And he helped you a lot over your life. What does he mean to you?
Yeah, actually, I met him early 80s, and actually, it was so funny. I was invited to do an audition in the UK, and it was a big magazine. And then I walked a little bit around after the sound check, and it was raining, cold, and I saw a pub. And I walked into the pub, and who was there? Lemmy. And Lemmy was saying, hey, Doro, aren't you the singer of Warlock? And I said, are you Lemmy? Are you from, Lemmy from Motorhead? He said, yes, come into my arm. And so we were arm in arm. So we were drinking, laughing. And then after a few hours, Lemmy said, hey, don't you have to do a gig? Don't you have to do a show? And I said, Lemmy, man, I totally forgot. Yes, man, it's my audition. Everything is on the line. And he said, oh, man, I think you're late. So I ran out of the club, of the pub, And I couldn't find the club because the alcohol was really going to my, to my head. And oh my God. And then I finally found the club, and everybody was like, in shock that I was late for my own audition, dead quiet. So I walked on stage, and the guys in the band, they said, "Hey, are you ready? And what's going on?" I said, yeah, I'm ready. So we started playing, and then I forgot all my lyrics, and I had so much whiskey. And then I sat myself on the drum riser, and I was waiting till the band was finally done. They played like most of the stuff instrumental, and I couldn't remember the lyrics. And then after that was done, I walked off stage. Again, dead silence. And then somebody started laughing, and it was Lemmy. And then people were very serious. And I said, "Girl, you just ruined your life. You just ruined your career." Yes, I said, "I'm so sorry, but I'm best friends with Lemmy." And then they turned around, and Lemmy was giggling and laughing. And then I said, "Okay, girl, you will get a second chance." So I got the second chance. And that was the first time when I met Lemmy. And Lemmy was a big part in my life. He was my best friend, and he was awesome. And the friendship just intensified every gig, every tour, every festival. And we did 3 duets together. First song was "Love Me Forever," a Motorhead classic. Second song was "Alone Again." Lemmy wrote it on his acoustic guitar. He was a great guitar player. Nobody really, knew that because he was such a fine bass player, but he could play guitar great. And the last song we did was "It Still Hurts," and that was on my album "Raise Your Fist," and we did it in, oh God, I don't even know, a few years ago. But Lemmy was, he was it. He was the best.
Love me forever. Oh, no.
That was Motorhead, the choice of my guest this evening on My Planet Rocks, joined by the Queen of Metal, Doro. So you've sold more than 10 million albums in your career, played in more than 60 countries. What is left for you on the bucket list? What are you still wanting to do?
Yeah, what I told you before, maybe a duet with David Coverdale would be great. Yeah. But man, all my dreams came true. I have not, there's nothing left what I really think, oh man, I should do this. If I would die today, I would be happy. And on the new album, there are actually 2 duets with Rob Halford. And it was my first big tour in 1986. And we always stayed friends. So I couldn't be happier. And Rob is such a great person and a total gentleman, and I love him so much. And that was it for me on this new album that we did, Living After Midnight and Total Eclipse of the Heart. And man,
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely. Nothing I can do. A total eclipse of the heart.
You've got a choice here from Judas Priest. Now, I know you've recorded some songs with Rob Halford. The song that you've got here, You've Got Another Thing Coming. Was this one of the songs that you performed on that occasion of getting your record deal that you mentioned earlier with Lemmy? Was this one of the ones that you had to remember the words for?
Yes, actually, that was a song. And for me, because I'm not a native speaker, I had to check out the lyrics. There weren't any lyric sheets and there was no internet. So I tried to find out what he was saying, and it was so hard. And, I mumbled a little bit. But You've Got Another Thing Coming. That was the first song I've ever sang in the UK. And, I kind of weaseled my way, But I think, it was one of my favorite songs. And I tried to give it my all, even though when I forgot the lyrics of Too Much Whiskey, but I still love that song so much. And I actually sang it with Biff of Saxon. We always sang it on our tour together, and Biff and me, we sang the song many times, and I love it.
The final choice from Doro Pesch on My Planet Rocks tonight. And don't forget, her brand new album, Conqueress, Forever Strong and Proud, is out right now.